4. Ugh, jeez. One more time. 4. Oh, golf. It's a game of skill. It's a game of dexterity. And if you're as good as I am, it's a game of a lot of patience. But this coming week, we hackers give way to the pros at the Greater Hartford Open.
Up, ho, ho. Hello, Gerry. I think you made just a slight mistake, if I may just tell you that.
Wait a minute. We hackers give way to the pros at the Greater... That was my line.
No. Didn't you forget a small name in front? The Sammy Davis Jr. Greater Hartford Open.
I'm sorry. What are you doing here anyway?
Well, I just figured I'd come out and see what the new course looked like. It looks magnificent. Looks like it's ready to go. How did you get on the golf course as interestingly as you play?
They gave me a media passport to come play golf. Yeah.
Well,
yeah, they've seen my game.
They've seen your game.
Yeah.
Well, shall we play a couple of holes together? Let me see it.
Make it a twosome?
Yes.
Love it.
All right, then.
Thank you.
You going to pick this ball up now?
I'm going to pick it up if you don't mind.
No, I don't mind.
I usually kick
Now,
them.
listen, I figured if we play for $5 a side. You see,
$5?
just $5 each hole.
Do you know what we make here in Hartford?
Our Mr. Brooks Goes to the GHO is brought to you by Lippman AMC Jeep Renault and Lippman Chevrolet, by Southern New England Telephone, bringing you better ways to do business, and by ACMAT, where you get more for less and on time.
Well, Sammy, what do you think of my game so far?
Well, now that you're one down.
All right. Sammy, all kidding aside, it is a kick to see you here every year. How did you come to get involved with the GHO?
Well, I had heard about the good work that the JCs were doing, and I have some roots in Hartford. I worked Hartford as the old State Theater here, and I worked in and around the state a great deal. And I suddenly felt that if I could be a part of it, and it all sort of tied in because the PGA was nice enough to ask me to host the tournament for a year. And I said, of course I will. And I fell in love with what was going on, because there is important work going on for the community.
We got some important golf to play. As you look out, it's a gorgeous course. What do you think about the change from Wethersfield to Cromwell?
Well, you're talking emotionally now, Gerry. You know, you're talking about Wethersfield after 10 years. You know, it was like having a member of the family, you know, go away to the wars or something. But I must say that this course just amazes me. It is so sporty, but it's also so regular that a guy like me can play it. But when I look at where the pros' tees are, I think it's going to be some fun. Okay, no more.
Let's see what we're made of here on the golf course.
Let's really lay it in there.
Well, Wethersfield really does have a distinguished history, Sammy. Why don't you tee off, and then we'll take a look at it.
Come in. Come in. Right into the water. Isn't that nice?
It starts in 1952 as the Insurance City Open, Ted Kroll winning the $2,400 top prize in hurricane-like conditions.
A few of the trees were coming down and water was all over.
Northampton's Bob Toskey made the ICO his first big tournament win in '53.
My family was here. I think the entire family was here, watched me win my first tournament, which I thought was a great thrill for me and my family.
Terrible Tommy Bolt shot a 60 en route to the 1954 victory, and Slammin' Sammy Snead beat the field and the residue of the 1955 floods.
The reason I came up here, I needed a few points to make the Ryder Cup team. If I could finish the first three, I could get on the team.
Wethersfield marked Arnold Palmer's first American win on the Pro Tour, beating Ted Kroll in a playoff using a putter borrowed from Kroll. It was 1956. 57 beckoned Gardner Dickinson to the winner's circle, followed by Jackie Burke in 58. Gene the Machine Littler took the 59 ICO, giving himself a nice 29th birthday present. And in 60, Arnold Palmer turned back two others in a playoff to become the tournament's first two-time winner. 61 was Billy Maxwell's year in sudden death over Ted Kroll, and Bob Golby needed 7 sudden death holes to beat Art Wall with a 1962 winner's check of $5,300.
We didn't play for as much money then, but the title was still the title. It wasn't the money that you're really shooting for. Of course, if you play well, the money takes care of itself.
Billy Casper took the ICO in '63 despite the first appearance of Jack Nicklaus, and U.S. Open champ Ken Venturi won it all in '64. It was Casper again in '65, and Art Wall came back to win it in '66. 1967 saw the ICO become the GHO, and Charlie Sifford become the first black golfer to win a PGA title. It was Casper again in '68, the tournament's first three-time winner, and there was another playoff in '69 with Bob Lunn holding off Dave Hill. Enter the '70s with Bob Murphy scoring in the '60s to win the GHO despite putter problems.
Pro-Am, I shot 77 in the Pro-Am, and I said, well, that convinces me that if I'm going to putt bad, I might as well do it with a putter I know how to putt bad with.
In '71, George Archer beat J.C. Sneed and Lou Graham in yet another playoff.
It was a good playoff. I think they both made pars, but I was fortunate to sink about a 10-foot putt and get a birdie.
In a 1972 Battle of the Lees, Trevino beat Elder in a playoff after Elder blew a putt on the final regulation hole.
Lee Elder missed a very, very close putt on the 18th hole, and any time that a man misses a short putt to win the golf tournament outright on the 18th, then I think that the opponent that's waiting, in other words, to go into the playoff definitely has the advantage. But I made about a 20-footer on the 15th to win.
Billy Casper ushered in the Sammy Davis era of the GHO in '73 with his fourth win and a $40,000 check, 100 times more than his first top prize 18 years before. 1974, Dave Stockton runs away from the field, but really shows what he's made of by donating his prize winnings to the JCs for a playroom for the mentally retarded. Don Bees took his first PGA win in '75 in a playoff over Hubert Green, and while Rick Massengale took the '76 tournament, the stars came out for the Celebrity Pro-Am to help Sammy celebrate the GHO's silver anniversary. Starting with Bill Kratzert in '77, a succession of journeymen won the GHO. Rod Funseth in '78, Jerry McGee in '79 when rains delayed the final round till Tuesday, and Howard Twitty in '80. When Roger Maltby blew these easy putts, it opened the 1981 door for Hubie Green, a crowd favorite.
Well, I'm local. You told my accent, I was born and raised right around Hartford, for crying out loud.
Tim Norris was unknown before the '82 GHO, and, well, he hasn't been heard from since. But 2 years ago, he burned up Wethersfield in the GHO records for his one and only PGA win. And while Curtis Strange collected the '83 winner's check, the real stars of the tournament were the throngs of fans and the course itself, because it was, after all, the last blast at Wethersfield.
Oh, heavens, not again. That never would have happened to Billy Casper in the '60s. Well, some great names dot the GHO's past, but this is the year the future begins. A future that should make this tournament bigger and better than ever. Coming right up, we'll be taking a closer look at this course and some of the people who are going to make the GHO bigger and better than ever. We'll be right back. Can I take a mulligan on that last one? It's all in the head, I keep telling myself. There's so many things to keep in your head when you're golfing. That's the problem. Knees bent, left arm straight, head down. Yeah, very nice. And then there's the equipment. Balls are made to do one thing, get lost. Heck, my version of a good round is when I find more balls than I lose. And then there are the clubs. You know, when I play softball, I talk to my bat. I say, hey, bat, we're going to hit this one to left center. And we do. But in golf, it's the other way around. I pull the club out of the bag, and it looks at me and talks to me. It says, hey, Bozo, you think you're going to hit the fairway on this one? Well, think again. See that water over there? That's where we're really going. You know, sometimes I think they're made that way.
Actually, there's nothing sinister about the way clubs are made, especially at Connecticut's own Sounder Sports. Sounder's club-making philosophy, every iron in a set should feel and play the same.
That the long irons have the same overall weight, the same swing weight, the same centers of gravity, the same moment of inertia throughout the whole set. Simply speaking, it means that we built a whole set of 7 irons.
The club heads are made in California, the grips are made in Chicago, and the shafts by an English company. and it all comes together here in Old Saybrook. The club heads are ground and polished. The grips are glued firmly in place. But it's what happens in between that sets a set of sounders apart.
And that is a process of weighting the shaft in a predetermined location, using a cork to hold the epoxy, some BBs and some steel wool to create this little plug, 2 inches or so inside the shaft, at a different location. This gives it its feeling of oneness. Everything feels the same and swings the same.
It's a process that produces 3,000 irons a week. And though it doesn't look it now, sounder represents a triumph over disaster. In this case, natural disaster. The 1982 floods in Essex made the company one big water hazard, and instead of making clubs, workers were fishing for them. Today, Sounder operates out of a modern new plant, sales up 5-fold in 3 years, with a roster of pros using the product, including Gerry Player and Severiano Ballesteros.
You get on an airplane, you sit next to a fellow, what business you're in? I'm in the golf business. Oh, what Sounder? Oh, I might have heard of him, yes. Anybody playing the clubs? When you say Gerry Player, Severiano Ballesteros, Andy North, you have their immediate attention if they're a golfer.
Now, while Sounder Sports is more than willing to open its doors to us to show us their golf club making secrets, it's a whole nother story when it comes to the golf balls made here at Spalding. Spalding calls its balls top flights, and apparently the process by which they're made is a top secret.
All golf balls may look round and dimply, but it's what's inside that counts. And it's what's inside that we're not allowed to see, because not all balls are alike.
There's the round ball, which starts with a little core and rubber windings around the core and then a cover put on it. Then the other method of construction is a solid center ball. No windings, just a center and a cover put around that.
Spalding makes a 2-piece solid ball, and the secret is somewhere inside. Spalding introduced the first American golf ball in 1898. So the next time you're on the road in some exotic place playing around, you can look at your playing partner and say, hey, I'm from the golf ball capital of the world.
Well, as you can see, most brands of clubs and balls are made equally. I guess they just take on different personalities when they get into the hands of their new owners. The old Edgewood Golf Course is passed under the magic wand of architect Pete Dye. It's now TPC North, the Tournament Players Club. It'll be a new experience for the golfers, a new experience for the tournament, and a whole new experience for the spectators, too. We'll take a closer look when we come back. Picture this. You've just driven off the 18th tee. The tournament is on the line, $72,000 top prize. You look up, and all of a sudden you got 40,000 people staring you in the face. That's a lot more than the capacity at Fenway Park, but if you can play baseball in a stadium, why not golf?
We're going to be able to put 40,000 people on the 18th hole, and every one of those people will be able to see the players tee off, hit their approach shots, and putt out. And there's no other golf course in the country that I know of that you can be able to do that.
Gerry, the people are going to be able to look down at the players. Most of the golf courses that you go to watch, you're down at this level. The green is up 5 feet above you, so therefore the players are up considerably above you, and the guy in the front row gets a good view and everybody else gets shut out. You know, they can't see a thing.
What you have at the TPC North is a huge natural amphitheater. The first thing fabled architect Pete Dye saw the first time he came to Edgewood.
Pete became very aware of the fact that people went to golf tournaments and they wound up having to buy a $10 periscope in order to see the play. And I think that he felt like if we can get the spectator up above the player, then he doesn't have to buy that periscope.
Now, while you're watching people, you may want to watch for the people who really make this tournament happen. Not necessarily the golfers, but members of the Greater Hartford Jaycees and all the volunteers who really work hard, overtime, to make this a first-class event.
We have 1,000 volunteers a day to run the tournament, and those 1,000 volunteers come from the JCs, come from the corporations that supply us marshals for the 18 holes, and from the neighbors that live right around here that come out and just lend a hand.
Last year was the last blast at Weathersfield. This is the dawning of a new era at Cromwell. Had to be a tough decision.
Being a TPC course, the course is basically owned by the players. So the players have a vested interest in coming out and supporting the club, which supports the tournament.
So you've made the crucial decision. What are some of the whys behind we're now here at Cromwell?
We wanted a championship golf course. We wanted a course that would be challenging to all of the premier PGA players, and this course definitely is. We wanted to have a course that had the amenities for sponsors, for spectators. We got a 15,000-car parking lot adjacent to the course. We have hospitality tents above the 18th. We have concessions throughout the course. And the last reason, which is a very important reason to us, is we want to ensure national television. As you know, we're back with CBS and we're part of a 5-year contract, and we needed a course with exciting television holes, and they're no better than right here.
Where is that ball? Now, as far as I'm concerned, golf is the toughest game to master, especially if you have a ball to play with. I mean, every time you think you've got it, it gets you. Makes me appreciate the pros more and more every time I play this game. Oh, it looks glamorous with Nicklaus and Watson, but for every Jack Nicklaus or Tom Watson, there are hundreds of younger guys just trying to scratch out a living on the pro tour, living on nothing more than determination and hope. Or maybe they'll turn to a nice club pro job. Where is that ball?
Teaching is a big part of it. Communications between the members. There's an awful lot of bookwork and paperwork involved with this operation right now. Buying of merchandise, selling of merchandise.
After 7 years at the Edgewood course, Rich Crow prefers being a golf professional to being a professional golfer.
I'm kind of a homebody person myself, and to be on the road 50 weeks out of the year, that's really not that's not what I'm looking to do. I enjoy what I'm doing right now. I enjoy being, a club pro, and I feel very, very fortunate to be involved with the tournament players.
Who benefits from the GHO? Well, certainly the guy who's going to pick up the $72,000 winner's check, but there are a lot of winners, and we'll tell you exactly who when we come back. In the meantime, I got to find Sammy. He played through, but I didn't think he was that cool.
In the rough, as usual.
Yeah, that's weird, huh? At least we can see them.
Sammy, next week, everybody has a great time, from the Celebrity Pro-Am, seeing you and everybody else right on through the tournament with the winner's check. But there are a few other winners connected with the Sammy Davis Jr. Greater Hartford Open, aren't there?
Yes, there are a lot of people. There's a very, very special place that the JCs have a piece of.
I think you're referring to the JC houses, Mr. Davis?
Yes, I'm afraid so. I'm happy because of the fact that the work, the love that's gone into that house, and everybody should walk past that house and know that they have contributed something to it. And the people who are involved with it on a day-to-day basis, their love and their affection for what they're doing shows.
Well, I know it's a special place with some very special people. Why don't we test our golf metal one more time and then take the folks there to see it?
That's the best idea of all.
Okay.
We're really talking about a long-term commitment that the JC's made to work with mentally handicapped citizens in the community. This home is 14 years old. The JC's have worked with us every year to make it better and are still here today to support it. That's a long-term commitment on their part.
You don't have to be at this JC house for even a minute before you realize this is not an institution, it's not a school, it's not even a house, it is a home. It's a home in a nice neighborhood. It's a home complete with even caring parents. Pat and Cindy Locklear have a 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week job, and they love it. Their parents at one of 3 JC houses, group homes for the mentally retarded. Pat's a musician who used to manage a tire store.
I was laid off from my job and was looking for some work and came to work at Oak Hill for the multi-handicap. And at first found it to be very difficult. But after a while, the clients there and the kids started to grow on you. And after a while, it became very hard to leave.
I went into hairdressing, kind of giving that a chance, but really knowing in the back of my mind I wanted to work with kids, you know, whether they be older or younger kids, mostly handicapped.
Just ask Dan O'Connell how tough it is to find a couple like the Locklears.
I know two people that couldn't do it, you and I. Yeah. It's a lifestyle that certain couples are able to adapt, and yeah, they're a very rare find.
8 residents with some hope of moving into the mainstream of society live with the Locklears, who plan their day and work with each individual's handicap.
Good boy. Boy. Good. And cat boy. Boy. Say good boy, Mike. Good boy. Good.
17-year-old Michael C. has Down syndrome, but that doesn't stop him from cleaning up at the Special Olympics.
Play. Play. 2 hands. Play. See the sign play, Mike. Play. Good.
24-year-old Michael T. has no speech and poor hearing, but he's learned how to be an assembler at a sheltered workshop.
Plate. Right? Plate. Okay, very good.
The Jaycees have poured around $200,000 into the houses since 1970, but except for a plaque on a wall in the den, you wouldn't know of their involvement, because this is just another house in the neighborhood.
One of the clients went for a walk the other day, and 2 ladies that were walking past her came up to the house and said, "We just wanted to let you know that one of your clients is walking down the street." And we said, "Thank you." You know, it's just very warm that they are watching out for us as well as themselves.
If your bottom line is results, you might say that J.C. House 1 breaks par. 37 of its residents have graduated into the mainstream of society. 37 people who otherwise might not have had a chance.
They're just as happy as you and I could ever be. And it's up to us to understand that they have certain needs, and as much as Cindy and I work with them and teach them, we're learning something ourselves.
Oh, come on, though, buddy.
All right, Sammy, so far, you've won both my cars, my house.
Catch the pin there for me.
Everything but my wife, actually. Just give me a little chance to win it back.
Let me see if I can do something with this one. Ah!
Okay.
That's a tap-in, that's a gimme.
I think so.
Gives me a little 4.
All right, here we go.
Oh, you may be playing customers golf here, you know.
Can I keep my wife?
Yes.
Thanks.
Can I keep mine?
Yeah, I think we got a deal there.
There you go, man.
Sammy, guys like Mike. Yeah. People might not know about them. I'm glad they got a chance to meet them.
Yeah.
It makes it all worthwhile.
Yes, it does. And I thank everybody connected with the Jaycees and all of the nice people of the Tri-States, particularly of the new golf course. Please come out and see us, because it's going to be, if you think last year was something,
wow. You're going to try this again next Wednesday, huh?
Yeah.
I know. We'll have some fun next week. Thanks a lot, Sammy. Good night, everybody. We'll see you at the GHO, the Sammy Davis Jr. GHO.
Why did they miss that?
Our Mr. Brooks Goes to the GHO has been brought to you by Lippman AMC Jeep Renault and Lippman Chevrolet, by Southern New England Telephone, bringing you better ways to do business, and by ACMAT, where you get more for less and on time.